thank you very much. When you say, Mr. Chairman, I must admit the seniority system really works.
Well, I was against the seniority system, as I think you were when you first came to Congress.
Oh yeah, when I first arrived, I was against it. It didn't make any sense to me. In fact, I organized with that. We came with a big class and we started moving around, organizing. We didn't even have staff, didn't even have offices. And our goal was to get rid of the seniority system. But let me tell you something, I'm happy we failed. And now that I've been here going into my 27th year. This thing makes a lot of sense now.
Oh, I did the same thing. I organized a committee to do away with the seniority system. And I was unsuccessful too, so.
I'm glad you were, because if you had started it back then
you would never been chairman now.
That's right.
No, I think you would have been, regardless of the seniority system.
Thank you.
The talents that you have and displayed in leadership in this Congress certainly have been recognized over the seniority system.
Well, thank you very, very much, and we've been able to enjoy it. I chair the Oversight and Government Reform Committee, and we're doing some things that are very interesting. As you know, that we just sent out to actually the government $787 billion in a stimulus package to various areas of this country. And of course, it's our responsibility now to monitor that and make certain that it's doing what it's supposed to do. And it's interesting, we called in Mr. Devaney, who is the IG, Inspector General, and he's like the superstar among the Inspector Generals. He's been involved over 35 years doing that. And he said to us that if we are aggressive, that we can expect to lose 55 billion of the 787 billion to waste, fraud, and abuse. Now, and I thought that was alarming, but he said that
a lot less probably than we have in other packages that we've had.
That's true. So what we are now trying to do is to bring about transparency, and we're going out to the community. I've had the committee to go into the community, and which is unique, to talk to people about whether or not the stimulus package is really working. Also to talk about what we might need to do to even make it work much more effectively. So we've been excited about the potential and the possibilities of this committee, and hoping that we can make people aware that we're watching this time around. We're trying to set up recovery.gov, hoping that after setting up recovery.gov, that will help people to be able to look and to see what's going on with the money. We want to make certain that this money stimulates the economy, not the pockets.
Well, you're the guardian at the gates.
Right.
Actually, though, the first stimulus package that came through had very little in the way of accountability to it.
Right, that's right. So that's what we need to do now, is to begin to establish accountability. They need to bring in more inspector generals. The states need to have more auditors in terms of staff to work along with the auditors. The city municipalities, need to have that. And we are hoping that we will be able to get additional resources for them to do that, because we do not want to be guilty of just sending money out to the community. They take the money, and then after they spend it, nothing happens. We want to make certain we stimulate the economy and turn this country back around.
Isn't it really the basis of all this? Although they talk about the question of the instability in the banking community, in our economic system, doesn't it all really basically, however, to jobs?
No question about it, and that's the thing I've been talking to some of my friends who have criticized the stimulus package. I'm saying that anytime we can create jobs, we need to do so. And I point out to them there's a correlation between unemployment and crime, that if people do not have jobs, they get involved in negative things. So it's important that we get this money out, be able to create job opportunities, have training programs to be able to get people back on track and to keep them out of the penal system. That's something that folks are not even talking about. But that's one reason why I supported, and I was one of the sponsors. There was 9 people that sponsored this legislation, and I was one of the 9. And one of the reasons I was so eager to do it is the fact that anytime you have people that have no jobs, have families to support, and you listen to their story, I mean, that to me is enough to get you motivated to do something about it. That's what this will do.
Well, you served with me too on the narcotics committee, if you remember.
Of course I do, yeah, those are the days.
The anti-narcotics committee. And one of the basic aspects that we had was these people who did not have jobs getting into the scene in the first place, into the areas, the low-income areas of our country, who started. And it wasn't until the fact that it reached into the high-income areas that people started to really pay attention to it.
Right. First of all, those days we had a select committee on narcotics. I mean, you did a lot of good work, and I can't ever forget that. But you're right. If we had paid attention when the drug problem was in the low-income communities, and we just sort of ignored it and said, look, they have problems over there, and then all of a sudden it moved into other communities, and by the time we recognized that it is now moving, and then we made a decision that maybe we need to put some resources there, but it was like late in the game. If we had started spending money early on, then I think that we would be on top of it. And today, more than ever, it is a serious problem that young people are getting involved in drugs, and even when they're toxified, they come back out, there's no jobs for them, so they end up going back to drugs.
Do you think the stimulus package is really going to work, or do you think that it's going to require more and more as time goes on?
Well, I think it's going to begin to turn things around. I do not feel that it's enough, but I think it will put us in the right direction. But I think we might have to come back again and do some more, because the situation out there is pretty grave. And really, people are hurting. People are losing their homes. So we have to make certain that whatever we do is to try to keep people in their homes. We have people that are losing their automobiles. I mean, just things like that because they have no job. So the stimulus package, I hope, will be able to curtail that. So we might need additional resources to be able to carry it out.
Let me ask you about the question of the problems that exist between the Democrats and the Republicans in trying to solve this problem. Are you getting cooperation, the type of cooperation that you need in order to oversee the program?
Well, I must admit that there is this breakdown, this split between Democrats and Republicans. But I'm encouraged. President Obama is constantly reaching out to the Republicans. And I think that eventually they're going to realize that what he's saying and what he would like to do is good for the country. And that if it's good for the country, then why not sign on? Why not do it? And of course, I really feel that if he continues to talk to them, he's going to pull some of them in, because he is spending time letting them know what he's doing and sending out information to them to get their reaction. So I'm encouraged, that he's going to be able to pull some Republicans to be supportive of the administration's position.
Congress Web TV reaches out to the entire world today, to parliaments throughout the world. What kind of a message would you send to them today in other areas of the world of how they can benefit by working with our system?
Well, I think that if we work together, recognizing that there's some serious economic problems, but when we look at the fact that this cuts across all lines, we must come together and to be able to deal with it. And when you look at the fact that we have companies, like AIG, which they're saying it's too big to fail, and then of course the government's got to put money in there to prop it up. So I'm saying to them, as I say to my constituents, we must work together to bring about a solution to this economic problem, and we must begin to spend. We must begin to let people know that the process of working together is to our advantage.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you very much I know you're very busy right now, and in fact, you're in between votes, as I understand it. But it's encouraging that we have people like you who are able to do the job that's necessary in order to keep this country going.
I appreciate your kind words, and I must admit, even after all these years, I still miss you in the United States Congress.
Well, thank you.
That Select Committee on Narcotics did a lot of good work around this country. So here again, we need another Select Committee. And
I think so.